Hey there, my name is Sarah, and up until this school year, I've homeschooled our 11 and 12-year-old for the past 7 years. So I'm here to give you some tips and tricks on how to do schooling at home. The first thing I would like to say is whatever you would like to call what we're doing now is definitely not homeschooling. It is so much harder than homeschooling. When you homeschool, you have access to the zoo and museums and co-ops and all sorts of different learning environments that you can throw your kids in the car and pretty much do a homeschool activity almost every single day of the week. But now that everything's closed, all you have is your house, and that is definitely challenging, stressful, and overwhelming. So before I give tips and how-tos, I would like to start with saying that what works for me and what works for our family might not work for you. So I recommend getting online and doing some reading about what other people have tried and pick and choose what works for you and what might be best for your family and your situation. Um, because there's so many different ways to do this, and my way might not be the best. The first thing I would recommend doing is set up a dedicated workspace for each of your children. That gets a little tricky if you live in a small house or apartment and you're also trying to work from home, but to your best ability, if each person has their own space to work, they will be able to go there and learn. It could be the bathtub, it could be the couch, it could be their bedroom, it could be the kitchen table, wherever they want to do their learning. As long as the learning is getting done, I think that's fine. I would also try to limit the clutter that is at the table or wherever their space is, because kids get distracted easily and you don't want to have to stand there for the entire day saying, don't touch that, put that down. The easiest thing to do is to try to get the clutter out so that they can focus on their schoolwork, which is sometimes easier said than done. On that note, if they're using technology, try to limit the amount of devices that they have access to, because it's very easy to get on YouTube and start watching videos of people playing Minecraft or whatever else your kid is into, and then several hours goes by and they've been doing that instead of their homework and half their school day is over. So try to limit their device time outside of schoolwork. On that note, also, try to set time limits. Schooling at your house is going to go so much quicker than it does in a normal classroom, because in a classroom, the teacher has to make sure that the 20 to 30 students understand the topic and that everyone's on the same page. But when you're learning at home and your child is the only person in the classroom, they'll probably get done a lot quicker, and that's totally normal. That's usually how it is. My one child, we have two kids. My son definitely falls into that category. I definitely have to set limits and expectations for my daughter. She could sit down and spend 3 hours on an art project and not do any math, or vice versa sometimes. So for her, I have to set more of a rigid schedule for her and tell her how much time she should be allowing in each subject to get through everything in one day. My next suggestion is to maintain social interactions with your children's friends virtually. So there are a lot of different ways to do that. They could text. If your kid's on Xbox, I'm sure that they could have a friend join them and they could chat that way. Maybe there could be a parent-initiated Zoom conference so that all the kids, maybe once or twice a week from the class or from the neighborhood, could get on and talk with each other. You know, right now it's really important for us not to have any contact with outside of our immediate family. So kids are definitely feeling that because they are so social by nature. So we need to make sure that we are giving them the opportunity to maintain their friendships. Um, What happens if I don't know how to teach a math subject? Or what does the science experiment even mean? There are a lot of resources out there that can help you. Two of my favorites are Khan Academy and IXL. They have really great videos. Well, Khan Academy does. And there are a lot of learning opportunities to give instant feedback to kids so that they can continue learning without being held up or frustrated. Another option is to get on Facebook or the internet and join some homeschool groups and forums, because there is a lot of information out there and just a lot of knowledge that you can plug into. People are more than willing to help you try to get through a specific topic or subject. Another option is to ask a friend or family member that maybe has a science background or a math background to help your kid if maybe you don't know how to do something. Um, okay, another one that people ask me is, what do I do if my kid won't hold still? Like, they won't sit down and they won't get their schoolwork done. Lessons don't have to happen at a table. Lessons don't have to happen at a chair and a desk. They can happen on the trampoline, in a hammock, on the front porch. They could happen anywhere as long as the learning's getting done. That's the most important part. One of our favorite things to do is to take a blanket into the backyard and spread it out and do our reading outside. Just pick a place and maybe switch it up some days, because they'll think that's pretty fun and they'll be more likely to get their schoolwork done. So I hear people say that it's too overwhelming, and right now it really is. It is very overwhelming, but my advice that if you're feeling overwhelmed is to try to take small bites with lots of breaks. So if you have a subject that is really challenging for your child, then instead of them sitting down and trying to do that entire day's worth of schoolwork right then and there, break it up. So maybe it's English. So maybe they can do a little bit and take a break and then come back in the afternoon and do more. Um, so another thing that I would recommend is, just try to embrace calm, try to embrace your family, and let your kids see that maybe you don't have all the answers. And if you're scared, that's okay. If you don't have all the answers, let them see you look up the answers, because that will show them that learning is a lifelong journey and it doesn't stop when you graduate high school or college. So I really hope this video was helpful for you, and try not to go too stir crazy, and hopefully you can just enjoy this new adventure. And yes, there will be days where it's not fun, and that happens in homeschooling families too. Even people who've homeschooled for their entire kids' schooling, there are definitely days and weeks that this is hard. So just try to enjoy the journey and hang in there.